Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Know Your Daughter 2 Item series. We are covering items from upgraded magical recipes. In a previous episode, we covered item 4 stuff and Rod of Athos. And this episode we'll start with Aether Lens and probably Scepter of Divinity, and if we can squeeze it, one or two more, we'll see. But first, let's begin with Aether Lens, shall we? Aether Lens is an item purchasable at main shop under Magical. However, it requires items from secret shop to complete. Yeah. We'll be looking into additional information, abilities, recommended heroes, and recent changes, but first, card view. It costs 2275 gold, which includes 775 recipe cost. Its sell value is 1137.5 gold. Passive ability is Ethereal Focus. It gives these bonuses, namely plus 300 mana, plus 2.5 mana regeneration. You cannot share it, you cannot disassemble it, and it doesn't give you any usage alert either. So this recipe requires energy booster, bloodstone, and recipe that makes Aether Lens, and which in turn gets used to make Ethereal Blade, which we will cover in our future episodes. Now, additional information. Aether Lens increases effect range differently for ability. For abilities using projectile or travel speed to a certain distance, travel speed remains same, while distance increases unless stated. Certain abilities do not have their effect range increased, despite their cast range being increased. Abilities with global cast range have their max distance increased instead. All vector targeted abilities have their cast range increased, but not the effect range. Cast range is increased, but not effect range. Okay. Cast range increased, that's what it should say. So, abilities. Ethereal Focus, its passive ability only affects self. Increases targeted spell and item cast range by 225. Cast range increases by 225. Stacks with other cast range increasing items or with ability specific talents. So increases cast range by 225. This is nice. Doesn't stack with other cast range bonus of other Aether lenses. Only affects ability cast range. Does not increase ability's radius or area of effect. Does not increase cast range of active attack modifiers. Recommended heroes list. Aether Lens is commonly seen on spellcasting heroes who can benefit from cast range bonus. Of course. Bane, Disruptor, Rubik, Ogre Magi, Nyx Assistant, Lion, Lich, Jakiro, Pugna, Tinka, Winter Wyvern, Zeus. And recent changes in 7.35 that builds into Ethereal Blade. In 7.33, item cost changes reduced force tools from 825 to 700. Increased recipe cost from 650 to 775. Total cost remains 2275 gold. No longer builds into Octar and Core. In 7.30, reduced mana regeneration bonus from 3 to 2.5, which stays true still. So this was it, fellas. We covered Aether Lens. Now let's move on to Scepter of Divinity. Scepter of Divinity is an item purchasable at base shop under Magical. We'll be looking at additional information, ability tips, recommended heroes, trivia, gallery, and restrictions. First, card here. It costs 26.25 gold, which includes 675 recipe cost. Its sell value is 1312.5 gold. Active ability is Cyclo. Bonuses are plus 10 intelligence, plus 2.5 mana regeneration, plus 20 movement speed. It's not shareable, you cannot disassemble it, and it does not give you any usage alert. This recipe requires Staff of Wizardry, Voidstone, Windlace, and Recipe, which in turns gets used to make Wind Waker, which we will cover in one of our future episodes. Now, let's move on to additional information. Items attributes grants following additional bonuses: 120 mana, 0.5 mana regeneration, and 1% flat base magic resistance, 10 main attack damage to Intel heroes, 7 main attack damage to Universal heroes, stacks with all other movement speed bonuses, purchase first, then apply Cyclone modifier. Ability Cyclo. As the targeted unit ability affects enemies or self, magical type damage, sweeps a target unit into a Cyclone, making them invulnerable for 2.5 seconds. Well, Cyclone can only be cast on enemy, unit, or yourself. Enemy takes 50 magical damage upon landing. Cast range is 550. Cyclone radius 24, damage is 50, duration for 2.5 seconds. And the cooldown is 23 seconds. It costs 175 mana. It's undispellable. And it's double tapping augment to the target self. Applies basic dispel and Cyclone effect on target upon cast, turning it invulnerable and fully disable. Cyclone duration is not affected by status resistance. Cyclone first applies dispel and then invulnerability. Can only target enemies, self or own Meepa clones and Tempest doubles. Cannot target other allies or buildings. While Cyclone, affected unit is moved upwards and has no pollution. However, 24 radius pathing blocker is created at base of affected unit while active. Okay. Damage is applied at end of duration. If Cyclone gets dispelled, it still applies damage as soon as target lands. Damage is only applied to enemy targets. Can be cast on Roshan, but has no effect. Since Roshan is immune to forced movement, however, damage is still applied. Okay. Shares cooldown with other Yule's Scepter of Divinity based items. Tips: using Yule's Scepter of Divinity on enemy to stop the chase, to interrupt their commitment in a group fight. When being overwhelmed, using Yule's Scepter of Divinity is not a means to escape since it immobilizes you, but a way to counterattack because it does following things. Make you invulnerable for short periods so your skills and other items can finish the cooldown, and your allies may be able to reach you. Disjoint all projectiles that haven't reached you. Apply a basic dispel. Beware of nullifier. If you use Scepter after being nullified, it will have almost no effect than basic dispel, as Cyclone effect will immediately dispel. Oh. So Okay, Nullifier is an item purchasable at base shop under weapons whenever it requires an item from Secret Shopper. We'll be covering it in our future episodes. Now, in recommended heroes list, Death Prophet, Invoker, Drakiro, Lina, Foot, Rubik, Shadow Fiend, Shadow Shaman, Tekis, Zeus. In trivia, Scepter's name and flavor text is reference to Yule, the creator of First Totem map back in 2002. Crystal Maiden's cosmetic item Yule Scepter of Divinity is based on Yule Scepter of Divinity and shares its name. Alright. So this is how it looks, icon by Yule Scepter. Icon when Compass of Rising script, and Compass of Rising Gale has various versions of it. White Storm Asylum also has 2 versions of it, alternative style. In recent changes, in 7.3 for D, reduced recipe cost from 755 to 675. Cost decreases from 27.25 to 26.25. Alright. Huzzah! Increased recipe cost from 675, which is again reduced to 675. So, and 7.32 version, Cyclone now first applies dismount, then vulnerability, which stays true still. So, this was it, fellas. We covered Yule Scepter of Divinity. In our next episode, we'll cover item recipe Solar Crest, and we'll probably also cover Witchblade, and we'll try to squeeze in Dagon as well. I guess not. Alright, so in the next episode, we'll cover Solar Crest and Witchblade. Until then, be good to yourself, everybody around you, both in game and out game. Last but not least, good game, everybody. Good game.